Help me reach 4,000 subscribers. Show some support by liking the video and sharing your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. Thank you. My name is Julian Pierce, and for most of my adult life I truly believed I understood what marriage was supposed to be. I thought it was rooted in quiet loyalty. Those simple everyday moments when you choose your partner, even when you're tired, irritated, or drained by life. My wife Valera once shared that belief. Or at least I assumed she did. We met back in college. She was the fire in every room. The kind of woman whose laughter could echo through a whole auditorium. I was the opposite, the reserved guy who clung to consistency and routines. Somehow we fit together. But as the years passed, that harmony began to fracture in ways I didn't see until everything had already slipped too far. It began with little things. A girls' night here. An unexpected late meeting there. A new friend she barely mentioned. I wasn't suspicious. I trusted her. But trust is strange. It can turn into a blindfold the moment the other person stops honoring it. Everything unraveled on a Friday night. We'd planned a quiet dinner at home, just the two of us. I even left work early to cook her favorite pasta, the one she once said made her feel loved in a way no restaurant ever could. But when she walked through the door, she didn't want dinner. She was dressed to stun. Silver heels, a sparkling dress, hair styled like she was stepping onto a magazine cover. "I'm heading out," she said, snatching a tiny clutch. I stared at her. "Where?" "We made plans." She rolled her eyes. "Julian, it's just a night out. Don't turn it into a big deal." "A night out where?" I asked. "A nightclub. The girls are waiting. I need a break." "Don't start with your boring husband act." I didn't yell. I didn't block the door. I just asked one simple question. "And you didn't think your husband deserved to know?" She smirked, an actual smirk. "If you don't like it," she said, "then divorce me." The word slipped out like it meant absolutely nothing, like all our years together could be tossed aside as easily as the lip gloss in her bag. I just stood there stunned, not because she said it, but because of how effortlessly it left her mouth. "So that's it?" I asked quietly. "One disagreement, and your answer is divorce?" She lifted a shoulder in a casual shrug. "You're too controlling. I'm not going to ask for permission to live my life." Then she added, almost with a taunt, "Grow up, Julian. Be a man, not a hall monitor." She turned to walk away. And that's when I said the line that sent her sprinting back home 3 minutes later. "But before I tell you what it was, you need to understand something. I wasn't mad. I wasn't jealous. I wasn't even hurt, not in the way she assumed. What I felt was clarity. The kind that settles in when you finally recognize the reality of someone you've loved for years. I went back into the kitchen and quietly dumped the pasta into the sink. I rinsed everything, wiped down the counter, and sat at the table. That's when my phone buzzed. A short message from her, sent from the Uber. "Don't wait up." Something inside me clicked perfectly into place at that moment, like a puzzle piece that had been wrong for months suddenly fitting exactly where it belonged. I typed a reply. 10 seconds maybe. Then I set my phone down. 3 minutes later, the front door slammed open so hard the frame rattled. She was breathless, hair a mess, heels in her hand, mascara smeared. Not from crying but from running. "What the hell does this mean?" she demanded, shoving her phone at me. I stayed seated. "Well," I said, "you told me to be a man." I finally listened. Her expression shifted. Fear. Not anger, not offense. Fear because my message wasn't loud or cruel or threatening. It was calm. Rational. And for her that was far worse. I stood slowly, watching her chest rise and fall as she waited for me to continue. "You wanted freedom," I said quietly. "So I gave it to you." Her lip trembled. "Julian, please tell me you're joking." But she already knew I wasn't, because I wasn't reacting the way a wounded husband is supposed to. And that terrified her. She stayed rooted in the doorway, gripping her phone like it was the last thread holding her together. "Julian, what did you do?" she whispered, barely audible. I walked past her and sat on the couch, letting the silence stretch long enough for her panic to take hold. Alara despised silence. She could never interpret it, never bend it to her advantage. And right now she had completely lost the control she thought she had over me. "Sit," I said. She hesitated, but eventually sank into the armchair across from me, her legs trembling. For years, I'd been the soft landing she counted on. Tonight, for the first time, she was seeing a version of me she didn't recognize. I finally spoke. You told me that if I didn't like what you were doing, I should divorce you. So, I answered you literally. She shook her head quickly. Julian, people say stupid things when they're upset. It didn't mean anything. But you weren't upset, I said evenly. You were dismissive. That's worse. Her throat dipped as she swallowed hard. I kept going. You told me to act like a man. So I did. Not like the doormat you've been wiping your feet on for months. She jerked at that. The phone in her hand lit up again, buzzing. She flinched at the vibration as if it struck her. Please tell me you didn't actually. Did you really send that to my sister and my mom? Yes, I answered without hesitation. The color drained from her face. Because my message wasn't dramatic. It wasn't angry. Its simplicity made it brutal. She asked for freedom tonight. I'm giving it to her. I'll reach out to a mediator tomorrow. No arguing. No bargaining. No chasing. Just a calm, final adult decision. And that terrified her more than shouting ever could. She leaned forward, her voice splintering. Julian, why would you do that? Why would you tell them? They're going to think you wanted out of this marriage. That's what you said, I replied. I didn't mean it. She screamed, the sound cracking through the room. Then why did it come out so easily? My voice stayed level, even unmoved. She covered her face, her hands trembling. I don't know. I don't know why I said it. I was trying to feel something. To feel free again. Young again. And a nightclub is how you do that? No, she whispered. It doesn't help. I don't know who I am right now. It was the first honest thing she'd said in months. I leaned back and really looked at her. Not the woman I married, but who she'd become. Restless, impulsive, careless with consequences. Someone who confused recklessness for liberation. Alla, I said after a long silence, when did you stop liking us? Not me-us. She didn't reply at first. Her fingers twisted together. Her nails pressing into her palms. Maybe when everything started feeling routine. Predictable. Safe, she finally murmured. She lifted her eyes, glassy. I know that sounds terrible. It doesn't, I told her. It sounds human. But you don't burn down your own home just to feel alive. A sharp breath escaped her, almost a sob. I didn't think you'd take me seriously. You never do. You never take anything I say seriously. That one landed. But she wasn't wrong. I'd spent years smoothing over her impulsive moments, treating her dramatics as passing tempests. I never held her accountable. Maybe that's why she wandered far enough to test just how much she could push. Well, I said quietly, you finally said something I couldn't brush off. We sat in silence for a long moment. Then she crossed the room slowly and sank down beside me. Her fingers skimmed my arm, tentative. Julian, don't contact a mediator. Please. I don't want that. I don't want a divorce. Do you want a marriage? I asked. Yes, she breathed. Do you want commitment? Yes. Do you want respect? She nodded quickly. I know I messed up. I know I hurt you. I'm sorry. Really, I am. Are you sorry because you mean it? I asked. Or because you expected me to collapse and I didn't? Her breath stuttered. Another question she couldn't answer cleanly. She buried her face in her hands, her voice shaking. I don't want to lose you. For the first time that night, her fear felt genuine. Not an act, not a defense mechanism. Real. I'm not deciding anything tonight, I said evenly. Not out of anger or pride. We'll talk tomorrow. But things aren't going back to the way they were. She nodded, tears streaking down her cheeks. She didn't sleep in our room that night. Not because I asked her to leave, but because she couldn't meet my eyes without falling apart. I heard her crying from the guest room. Quiet, shaky, remorseful sobs. Maybe we'd rebuild. Maybe we wouldn't. But for the first time in years the balance shifted. Not out of spite. Not out of vengeance. But out of clarity. She told me to be a man. So I finally was.